90 seconds. That is your survival time. If you trust your own senses in a whiteout, 90 seconds. Then you fall, you freeze, you meet that inevitable end. There is no horizon, no sky, no ground. There is only white. You are experiencing whiteout right now. In this state, your brain begins to hallucinate. Your brain processes 11 million bits of visual data every second. This data uses more than 30% of your brain. The visual cortex works constantly. It analyzes constantly. It seeks patterns constantly. In a whiteout, there is nothing, only a blank screen. The brain does not like emptiness. When there is a void, the brain starts to invent. You begin to see hallucinations. Imaginary horizons emerge. You start to see paths that do not exist. May 26, 1996. Mount Everest. 8 people died. All were experienced climbers. All walked off cliffs inside a whiteout. Their eyes were open, but their brains had shut down. One was 100 meters away from the camp, the distance of a football field. But he could not find the camp and froze to death. Visibility was 2 meters. The camp was 100 meters away. Mathematically, he should have found the camp in 50 steps, but the whiteout erased the mathematics. He spoke to his friends via radio. His friends said, "The camp is 100 meters to the south." He checked with a compass and walked, but he turned in a spiral. He never found the camp. Science calls this spatial disorientation-induced psychosis. Psychosis resulting from the loss of spatial orientation. For military pilots, this condition means death within seconds. U.S. Air Force data shows the following. In a whiteout or night flight, if a pilot trusts their own senses, the average survival time is about 90 seconds. 90 seconds. Pilots call this spatial disorientation. The aircraft is fully operational. The pilot is fully conscious. But the brain has lost its direction. The plane turns upside down. The pilot does not notice, and that inevitable end arrives. In a snowstorm, this process works slower, but just as certainly. Without a visual horizon, the anchor of the vestibular system is lost. The fluid in your ears tells you one thing. Your eyes tell you nothing. This is not just a loss of orientation. This is a cognitive shutdown. Human balance depends on 3 systems. All 3 must work. 1. Vestibular system, the inner ear. It senses gravity and the feeling of rotation. There is fluid inside 3 semicircular canals. When you move, the fluid moves. The brain interprets this as direction. This system sends more than 1,000 signals to the brain every second. 2. Visual system, the eyes. It provides the reference for movement and position. Horizon line, trees, buildings, any fixed point. This system processes 11 million bits of data every second. 3. Proprioceptive system, muscles and joints. It senses body position. Which leg is stepping on the ground? Which muscle is tense? Which joint is at what angle? This system sends more than 100 signals every second. Under normal conditions, these 3 systems work in harmony. The brain compares the data. It corrects inconsistencies. It maintains balance. In a whiteout, the visual system becomes non-functional. The vestibular system is left alone. The proprioceptive system cannot find a difference between the white ground and the white sky. The 3 systems lie to each other. What is the result? The brain goes into panic mode. In the 1996 Everest disaster, Elite climbers walked off cliffs because their brains could not see the difference between a path and a precipice. Both are white, both are snow, both are the same, but one is solid ground, the other is a 1,000-meter fall. For the brain, there is no difference. In a whiteout, all senses are liars. Now, time for mathematics. A human cannot walk straight without a visual reference. Never. Scientists conducted an experiment to prove this. 2009, Germany, Max Planck Institute for Biological Cybernetics. A team led by Dr. Jan Suman conducted a study. They left 15 people blindfolded in the Sahara Desert to walk. They wore GPS trackers. The task was simple: just walk straight. Everyone in the experiment walked in circles. Then they repeated the experiment, this time in a forest in Germany. On a cloudy day, the sun was not visible, but the same result emerged: circles. Then once more, this time a sunny day, and the sun was visible. This time there was a visual reference. The result changed. People walked almost straight. Under normal conditions, the brain corrects your route with visual references. You see a tree, the brain says, "I am drifting to the right," and corrects it. But in a whiteout, there is no correction. If there is no visual reference, there is no correction. There is only deviation. Every step you take turns slightly. In 30 steps, you deviate 15 degrees. In 200 steps, you complete a full circle. You are not actually escaping. You are drawing a circle with a radius of less than 30 meters. You are burning 600 calories per hour, but you are returning to the exact spot where you started. The probability of survival is dropping. The mathematics is this: average walking speed, 4 kilometers per hour. Spiral radius, 25 meters. Full circle time, 3 to 4 minutes. Energy loss, 600 calories per hour. Net progress, 0 meters. Thermal loss, -2 degrees Celsius body temperature every hour. Hypothermia begins after 3 hours. Loss of consciousness begins after 6 hours. Death is certain after 12 hours, and you will still be only 50 meters away from your starting point. Antarctic Research Station data confirms this. 60% of those who lose their lives in Antarctica are found within 100 meters of their camps. They did not get lost. They turned in a spiral and froze. 1982, Antarctica. A scientist went from the camp to the latrine. Distance, 50 meters. There was a rope line, but he didn't use it. A snowstorm started. They found the scientist 3 days later, 80 meters away from the camp. He had drawn a spiral. The spiral is not a trap. The spiral is a law of physics. When the whiteout starts, you will stop. Movement is a gamble, and in this gamble, the house always wins. Protocol 1, stop, sit, evaluate. The first 30 seconds are critical. When panic starts, physiological changes become irreversible. Heart rate increases by 40%. Risk of heart attack increases. Respiration becomes shallow. Hypoxia begins. Decision-making ability decreases by 60%. You make irrational decisions. Heat loss accelerates by 30%. Hypothermia approaches. Therefore, stop, sit, take a deep breath. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. Exhale for 8 seconds. Repeat this 3 times. This is the 4-7-8 technique, used by U.S. Navy SEALs. It drops the heart rate by 25%. It reduces cortisol levels. It brings back decision-making ability. A long exhale activates the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve triggers the parasympathetic nervous system. This system is the rest and recover mode. The heart slows down. Blood pressure drops. The brain calms down. Protocol 2. Create an artificial horizon. You need a visual reference. If there is none, create it. Method 1. Rope line. Carry a 50-meter bright-colored rope. Orange, yellow, red. Anything visible in white. Fix one end, backpack, tent, ice stake. Carry the other end to a further point. This is your lifeline. Follow the rope when returning. Method 2. Equipment markers. Leave a piece of equipment every 10 meters. Bright anorak, tent stake, spare glove, anything visible. These are your turning points. These are the maps of your life. Attention, equipment is valuable, but your life is more valuable. A glove is $30. Your life? Priceless. Method 3. GPS pinning. Save GPS coordinates. Check every 5 minutes. If you have moved more than 10 meters, you will stop. Use the GPS waypoint feature. Mark your starting point. Record new waypoints at regular intervals. Follow the waypoints when returning. Protocol 3. Leapfrog method. If you must move, you will never proceed alone. If you are 2 people, step 1. The first person becomes fixed, sits down, lowers the heavy pack, becomes visible. Step 2. The second person proceeds to the edge of the visual range. In a whiteout, this usually means 5 to 10 meters. Step 3. The second person becomes fixed, shouts to the first person, "Stop! I am here!" Step 4. The first person proceeds toward the second person. They have a visual reference now. Step 5. Repeat. This method is slow. You progress 200 to 300 meters per hour, 1/10 of your normal speed. But you progress alive. Protocol 4. Time and energy management. Whiteout usually lasts 2 to 6 hours, but this duration is uncertain. Sometimes it lasts 1 hour, sometimes 48 hours. You cannot control this. You can only survive it. Energy management is important. Drink hot liquid every 20 minutes. Carry a thermos. Hot liquid radiates heat inside the stomach. It keeps internal organs warm. Eat high-calorie food every 30 minutes. Chocolate, nuts, trail mix, fat equals energy equals heat. Every 60 minutes, check your shelter. Has snow accumulated? Is there wind entry? Is the insulation broken? Snow is an excellent insulation material, but wind blows snow away. Minimize energy expenditure. Do not move. Wait. Patience is a tactical requirement. Ego is a biological hazard. 1912, Antarctica. Robert Falcon Scott and his team. They reached the South Pole. On the way back, a snowstorm started. They were 18 kilometers away from the camp. The storm was severe. Temperature minus 40 degrees. Visibility 1 meter. Scott decided to proceed. The storm lasted 3 days. The lives of all of them ended by freezing. Their frozen bodies were found 8 months later, inside the tent. If they had stopped and waited, they would have lived. Because they had a tent, they had food, and they had fuel. In his diary, Scott wrote, "The storm has not abated. It is too late. I am very tired. May God have mercy on our souls." But ego is a biological hazard. The storm does not care about your destination. It only cares about entropy. The statistics try to fight the white. The prepared become part of the landscape and wait. The oldest survival rule in Antarctica is this: move when the storm ends. While the storm continues, survive. Discipline is the only thing that doesn't freeze. Stay fixed. Stay silent. Wait for the light. Whiteout is not your enemy. It is the test of your patience. And in nature's tests, there are no second chances. You will resist the white, but you will not fight the white. The difference is between life and death. Zero protocol. Stay ready. Stay alive.